Hey everybody, it's me, Kamau Bell, coming to you from Skyline Studios in Oakland. Welcome to this week's episode of Who's With Me, episode 10 with Leslie Jones. I did not record that here. You'll see that in a moment, but I am here at Skyline right now for an interview that I'm doing with somebody who, when you see that episode come out, you'll see this red ACLU sweatshirt and you'll be like, hey, that was the one, but you're not going to pay that much attention. Anyway, before we get into the episode and what I want to talk about this week, we give you some stand-up dates. September 25th and 26th, I'll be in Stamford, Connecticut at the New York Comedy Club in Stamford, Connecticut. 4 shows. Get your tickets. Stanford University on October 1st. So I'm going to Stanford in Connecticut, then Stanford October 1st in Palo Alto. It's at Stanford University. You know where that is. And then November 13th, I'll be in Bellingham, Washington at a theater there. You can get all these tickets at wkamaubell.com or look up my dates in those cities and you'll find a way to get the tickets. But go to wkamaubell.com for any tickets, wkamaubell.com. Yes, today's episode is Leslie Jones. We'll get to that shortly. But first, let's talk about some things. So, as I sit here yesterday, Spain won the World Cup, and I think I'm supposed to be excited about that. Look, I was not a World Cup guy until this year, and by World Cup guy, I meant I watched a little bit of World Cup this year for the first time in my life. Wasn't my choice. Not that I'm anti the World Cup, but my 8-year-old came to me at one point and said, "Hey, Dada, how can we watch the NBA Finals, but we're not watching the World Cup?" I was like, "Oh, fair criticism." My 8-year-old, she started playing soccer this year, but like little kid, non-competitive, non-keeping the score soccer. It was great. A couple dads were coaches. Dads who knew soccer. They were great coaches. I love those dudes. And my 8-year-old has now fallen in love with soccer. And we did watch the NBA Finals in my house. This is the first year my kids wanted to watch the NBA Finals because they're fans of the city of New York, not necessarily the team of New York. But since the New York Knicks were in the finals and won the finals, we watched the NBA Finals, which is great to watch with my 3 daughters. And my 8-year-old, after it was over, was like, "Hey, we watched the NBA Finals, but the World Cup is happening." She heard about the World Cup because everybody's talking about it. Also, one of her childcare providers, who's like a family friend, also is from Brazil. So she heard about Brazil being in the World Cup. She wanted to see Brazil in the World Cup. We watched the game with Brazil. They did not advance. But we also got to watch the game with Messi, where he scored 3 goals, the hat trick. So I watched some World Cup this year for the first time and really enjoyed it, mostly because my 8-year-old enjoyed it. And then yesterday, we watched Spain and Argentina, and Spain won 1-0. Look at me talking like a World Cup person. Spain won 1-0. And I was a little bit confused because, like, I'm so used to my folks out here in the Bay Area, my Latino folks, being anti-Spain because they're the colonizer. My Mexican-American friends and my South American friends. But then apparently I learned that Argentina is more openly racist more recently than Spain is. So I'm happy for Spain, which I guess. I'm happy for Spain and not happy for Argentina. Although I guess also, is it okay if we like Messi? I don't know. My 8-year-old likes Messi because he's good, but we were happy to see Spain win. Yeah. So shout out to Spain, I guess. My 8-year-old also booed the TV directly whenever Trump came on. So we're raising her right. But there's more good news out there from the past week that we should celebrate. President Trump, our adjudicated rapist-in-chief, he is an adjudicated rapist, had to pay E. Jean Carroll $5.6 million because E. Jean Carroll is the woman that he is adjudicated to have raped. So you can say that the president is an adjudicated rapist. You can say that. You don't have to say accused or has been said to or credible accusations. The courts have weighed in. And he owed her $5.6 million. And last week she got her money because it was sitting in an account somewhere and they said, here it is. So good for E. Jean Carroll for standing up to our adjudicated rapist-in-chief. I want to be clear some things up. A lot of times people think that this happens commonly, that women get money when they are raped or accuse someone of rape. That's not true. This happens very rarely, but it did happen in this case. And in a world where so much awful is happening, and you've read the news, you got to celebrate the good ones. You got to accentuate the positive and eliminate the negative. Not eliminate it, but at least not focus on it, not hyper-focus on it. The other good news in a related story is that Saturday the news dropped that Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate have been arrested in Miami. Apparently, the UK police threw 38 more charges at them. They already had some charges thrown at them. And the Tate brothers went to Miami, and apparently the UK and America have an extradition treaty. So American law enforcement officials arrested them in Miami, and apparently they're going to the UK to confront their new charges, 38 more charges. I don't know if you know the Tate brothers. They are leaders of the Manosphere. The Manosphere is the part of the internet that turns young men and little boys into misogynists and phobes of the worst kind, transphobes, homophobes, just racists, turns them into racists. Even though the Tates are black because their dad was black from Chicago, but they don't really do black stuff in the way that I would like them to. Like, I guess they're black like Clarence Thomas is black. That's the blackness they have. Anyway, but yeah, so the Tates are leaders of the Manosphere, but that's not why they were arrested. They're also very credibly accused of sex trafficking. And they also run pyramid schemes where they take advantage of their audience, these young men who they say they're going to make them powerful men by getting them to spend money every month out of their wallets to participate in a pyramid scheme. So they are both credibly accused of sex trafficking. They're accused of rape, at least Andrew Tate is, and they run pyramid schemes. And they were arrested in Miami. And of course, the people who got the news first were TMZ, some of America's leading journalists at TMZ. I don't know how TMZ does it, but sometimes they get big news. I think it's because they pay. But my favorite thing about the clip of Andrew Tate and his brother Tristan getting arrested, my favorite thing about it is the moment so Andrew Tate's arrested and they walk him to the paddy wagon or the vehicle they put him in. A lot of women have made fun of what Andrew Tate was wearing, saying, I have that outfit in my closet. It's like, because he clearly him and his brother were going out to the club to have a good time, so he's dressed for club action, but a lot of people on the internet are saying, like, that's not very good fashion sense. I can't really make fun of that, but a lot of women have. Check out Refashioned Hippie on Instagram and YouTube. Had some funny stuff about it. And his brother, who's dressed in a suit, who, when they pick him up, he's being walked to the police car or the whatever vehicle they're putting him in. And there's this great moment where somebody asks Tristan Tate, Andrew's brother, who's sort of like the little brother who tags along, basically like, hey, you got anything to say? And Tristan turns and looks at the guy who's asking. And the look on Tristan's face is like, I'm turning state's evidence. I'm telling everybody. Like he looks full Henry Hill from Goodfellas in that moment. Like, I'm not going down. He looks like I don't want to go to jail again. They went to jail in Romania for a little while. I think they thought that was fun. I don't think they think UK jail is going to be fun. At least Tristan doesn't. And the look at his face is like, I'm turning state's evidence. So they want you. They don't want me. So good job, Tristan Tate. I very famously come out against the Tates on Substack because they have a Substack channel and Substack was promoting it, and I called out Substack for it. You can follow me on Substack to read that and also just to keep up with everything I'm doing. And also, I had an incident a couple years ago where my kid's school emailed all the parents and was like, hey, some of the boys in middle school and lower school are talking about how they watch Andrew Tate, and it's hurting some feelings, and we're having conversations. It is, of course, age appropriate that little boys want to be involved and follow controversial male figures. And I emailed back like, no. These are not controversial male figures. Andrew Tate is not controversial. He is credibly accused of sex trafficking and running a pyramid scheme. And rape. This is not a rock stars in clown makeup. This is a demon. They never emailed me back. I say, look, as a person who's also accused of being controversial, there's a difference between controversy and a high-level criminal who is dangerous. And let's not get it twisted. So maybe I'm a controversial comedian. And, as a kid, I enjoyed Andrew Dice Clay's first album, but Andrew Dice Clay is not a accused sex trafficker and rapist and running a pyramid scheme. He's just a dirty joke teller who tells sexist and racist jokes for fun. And in high school, I enjoyed that. So let's not get confused. We can't let our young men like the Tates and think that's just another, it's like people who like Kiss and Alice Cooper. And, that's just the same. It's not the same. Not the same. Anyway, this week, our guest is Leslie Jones, comedian, fire starter, firebrand, just force of nature, Leslie Jones. I'd only met Leslie through social media. We'd interacted a couple times. Years ago, I actually wrote a piece on my website, a blog, about how she did a bit on SNL about how if she had been a slave, that she would have been popular because she's a big, strong, powerful woman, and how that's different how she feels now as a big, strong, powerful black woman. She doesn't feel as popular. And it was very controversial. She did it on the Weekend Update desk. We talk about that bit in this episode during this conversation. We also just talk about generally about her run on SNL and what went right and what she thinks did not go as right as it should have been. Specifically about how at one point she did a bit about how she wanted to play Trump on the show that I really enjoyed. And we talked about her career in Hollywood and also how we were both sort of like quote unquote late bloomers in this business and how that affects us or doesn't affect us. But really, the important thing is on this episode of Who's With Me, I'm really the guest and Leslie Jones is the host. And she took over from the moment she walked in to the moment she left. I was just happy to be a guest on my own podcast. We'll definitely have to do it again. She's incredible. Enjoy my conversation with Leslie Jones.